What is going on, guys? What's going on? What's going on? How are you guys doing? Good morning if you're on this side of the world. Good afternoon if you're on the other side of the world. What is going on, guys? All right, let's see who we got with us. Yep, we are live. Let's see who we got with us. Eric, what's going on? Colin, Vinny, Giovanni, Harm, Lewis. Your name is Harm? Harm Robert? That's an interesting name. What's going on? Stereo Hound, Shanti or Xanthi. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Lyle, what's going on? All right, man. So Anthony, what's going on? Giovanni, Mayuresh, Yus or Yus, Leon, Ed, Ichan, Haria, Manoj, Prachi, what's going on? How are you? Stack Trader, Eric K, Emmanuel Moore, Yosef, what's going on? A lot of familiar faces this morning. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. All right. So what I want to do today is answer most of your questions, or try to answer most of your questions as it relates to options trading, stocks, crypto even. So if there's anything that you want me to do a technical analysis on, let me know. If there's any questions that you have regarding any strategies, let me know as well. Want to keep this one kind of an open forum. And then obviously we'll take a look at the markets. The markets are acting choppy, as you know, we suspected they would after the inflation data came out and after the Fed policy. The Fed telegraphed its policy. So, you know, we are seeing a lot of days now after the Santa rally where the market opens green, turns red, or opens red, turns green, or kind of just hovers in this limbo stage, right? So it isn't, you know, I know that for folks that came into the market, quote unquote, late, it might seem like not a very desirable time for you at the moment, because buying at the highs, there really isn't, it's not uncommon if you're buying at the high for something for the stocks to drop from the highs that they're at. So it does feel like for a lot of people who came in late that they're in a world of hurt. Also, people who started their portfolios late, right? So people who started with a proper allocation or proper distribution of their portfolio, you know, where they might have been invested more so in meme stocks and now are invested in and now we're trying to invest in blue chips. Those people are likely also struggling as well. But if you take a look at what even something like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, if you take a look at where they're at, I mean, we're near all-time highs. We're only 3% off from all-time highs. But I know that for a lot of people, based on the comments that I get and stuff, for a lot of people, it feels like, you know, we are in a world of hurt, and that's just not the case, to be honest. Now, the NASDAQ, I think, took the brunt, as it usually does when we start talking about interest rates and whatnot. The NASDAQ took the brunt of that because it is down, you know, almost 7% from highs, so double what the S&P is down from. And the Dow Jones is down almost similar, I think, to the S&P, somewhere around 2 or 3%. Yeah, we're down like 2.5%. So it's really not that bad. But I know that for a lot of people, that effect is magnified. A lot of you guys ask me about this tool here. This is Cheddar Flow. This is a very light yet extremely beneficial tool to track options orders in real time. So if you look at this, it continues to populate, so you don't have to refresh or anything, but orders just come in all day. And you can obviously sort by a few filters. It tells you whether the overall sentiment of the market is bullish or bearish based on call or put flow. But you could see here the large orders that are coming in, and you can actually sort this by premium paid, meaning basically the total amount paid for those orders. You could see that the SPX this morning had a $4.3 million print in the 3,300 strike for puts. The SPY had a $3.5 million print for the 460 puts, and so on and so forth. But this is a tool that, you know, I'm finding more and more useful. If you guys want 25% off this tool, just go to Cheddar Flow and at checkout put in the code TT32. Anyway, let us get to some of your questions because I saw a lot coming in. Oh, and if you guys want me to go over the day trade methodology, because we started this day trade watch list. I was saying now about 2 weeks ago, where we put in every morning, we put in a watch list of day trades that we're looking at. And so I know I get a lot of questions about how to read this as well. So if you guys have questions on how to read this and how to apply it to the chart, let me know, because this is one of the most lucrative, I would say, features that we introduced to the Discord. And I'm happy to see that a lot of even, newer traders or newbies participating in this, because it is fairly simple if you put in the work, right? So you can see that my levels are drawn here. This is the SPY. You can see my levels are drawn pre-market, and it's based on the levels that I identify here. And when we get a clean break above the resistance levels when I buy calls, and if we break below the support levels when I buy puts. But basically, you have to draw these lines beforehand, before market opens, so that you can sit here and monitor them and cycle through the ticker symbols in order to see if we get a clean break. Like on Tesla, for instance, in this case, I wouldn't do anything because we got rejected off resistance and we're still within this range, right? So until we breach one of the levels is when I act. And if we breach the resistance side, we're buying this call. If we breach the support side, we're buying this put. But happy to answer any more questions that you guys have on that. But more importantly, I am loving that you guys are loving it. So, all right. I hear you with double echo. Does everybody hear me with double echo? Let me know. That shouldn't be the case. Shirt is fire. Thank you, Lewis. I got this obviously when I was in Dubai. Bro, morning, Zaddy. What's going on, Hakel? What's up? Always great to stuff from you. Thank you, S. Scalcher or Shelcher. Thank you. Baba, I guess you want me to look at Baba. Technical analysis on Shop. It's getting smashed. That's actually a good one. Shopify is a really good one. Permission to long Baba. Please confirm my apish behavior. Okay. So a few of you have talked about Baba, so we'll talk about that. Hi, I'm new to the channel. Just subscribed. How do I read the trade indicators you send out on Twitter? The ones I send out on Twitter they're basically a reduced or truncated version of this. Is this what you're talking about? You're talking about how to read this? Let me know. But I just went over the basics of how to read it. Happy to go over it again. Added AWK this morning. Okay, so a few of you asked me on Baba. A few of you asked me about Shop. Rita, are you asking me time to buy on Shop or not? All right, let's look at it. So Shop is interesting because Shop has been an absolute powerhouse the last 2 years, really the last few years. If you take a look at the 12-month chart on Shop, it looks like literally, I was going to say something derogatory, but I won't. So it looks like a pole, right? Like a flagpole. This is the 1-year chart on Shop. This is insane. You won't find many stocks that start out the gate like this. Ever since it started trading in 2015, we had a year it went up 66%, 135%, 37%, 187%, another 184%. This is like compounded annual gains. It's insane. But lately, obviously, it's been suffering a bit, which is why we're getting questions on it. However, I drew the support line, this yellow rectangle here. I drew that a while ago, and as you can see, it is now finding support here. So this is the first place that I would start dollar cost averaging on Shop. Now, Shop is obviously an expensive stock, not only by the stock price itself, but by its valuation. So if you guys ever have a question on valuations and you don't know how to read a balance sheet or financial ratios or whatever, Seeking Alpha is actually really good. I know you can find potentially some free tools for this. Maybe Yahoo Finance still does this, I'm not sure. But you can actually look at the valuations of companies and see what they're trading at, what multiples they're trading at, multiples of sales, multiples of books. So their price to sales ratio is pretty high at 31. Price to books pretty high at 11.75. Now, you'll see this with companies. And by the way, guys, sorry, 1 second. a lot of you remind me to do this. Hit that thumbs up on this, because apparently the more that you hit that thumbs up, the more this live video will pop up to users. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. All right, let's get back to it. So with Shop and other stocks, the reason that you can justify sometimes insane multiples is because they're growing like crazy. So Shop's growth rate is one of the best in the market. You could see here Seeking Alpha gives it an A+ growth grade, which is why you can sustain sort of these astronomical valuations, these insane, seemingly irrational valuations, as long as the company continues to grow, and it is. So I'm not worried about Shop's valuation if this growth rate still continues to impress. I mean, we're talking about, you know, an EBITDA growth rate of 511%, EBIT growth rate of 1,600%. And EBIT means earnings before interest and taxes. EBITDA means earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Very nerdy accounting terms, but all you need to know is that Shop is growing at an insane clip, which is why it could justify these types of valuations, right? So I would dollar cost average into Shop here at this major support level that really has been around since December 2020. And from highs, you're getting a nice 38% discount on Shop. Now, what you don't want to do is invest all your eggs in this basket at this price point and, you know, see Shop continue to fall, because there's nothing really that's going to tell you whether the market is going to uphold Shop here at the support level or not, since it is trading still at those insane valuations. It becomes a trade-off between, you know, is the growth enough for the market to justify its valuation? And then you also have momentum, right? There are external factors such as momentum, which cannot be measured, really cannot be measured by these traditional methods of valuating companies. So you can use something like the fib retracement and see, you know, where Shop is going to stop at. So the fib retracement, you measure from the swing low to the swing high if you're trying to measure a move down. And you could see that Shop does have a major fib level here at around 931, which also happens to coincide with this support level that we saw back in June 2020. So it is very plausible that we get to this level as well. So what I would do is I would dollar cost average a little bit here, maybe wait for that 931 level if it comes. If not, and we continue to see a bounce, continue to dollar cost average, right? But I wouldn't play options on this yet unless I'm selling a cash secured put at a much lower level at, say, like the 850 level. Actually, I'm curious, what would be, if we look at Shop, what can we sell a cash secured put for? This could be one of the lucrative ones. So let's see. We currently have cash secured puts out on Tesla, by the way, and those are printing hard. We have cash secured puts on the triple Qs, which is the NASDAQ. Could have closed those for 40%, but we kept them, or at least I kept them open because I want to be assigned or get the chance to be assigned NASDAQ at that price point. So on Shop, I mean, this is the way that I would play it, okay? Obviously, you have to have liquidity to play this, but I would likely sell the 850 put on Shop for $22 or $2,200 is what it translates to in option speak, going out to March 18th, right? And 850 will put you at around, you know, will put you right around here, which I would be happy to buy Shop at, right? And if you get assigned, then you could just sell calls against your shares. This is called the wheel strategy. Again, anything I talk about here, I know that, you know, I have a lot of crypto fans. I know that I have a lot of, you know, options fans, stocks fans, etc. So I do tend to bounce around topics a lot, but I want to give you guys really the most value, right? So, you know, hopefully you guys aren't the ones who are, say, into crypto aren't getting lost when I talk about options and vice versa. I will talk about most of what you guys want to ask. And then somebody asked me about Baba. Let us get into Baba real quick. As you guys know, Maybe you're asking me about Baba because you want to hear me rant about it again. I know that folks find that funny, but there is no way that I'm investing long term in this company. I don't. There might be some Chinese companies worth investing in for the long term. It's still tenuous because the geopolitical situation in China is always going to be something that's shaky, at least for the time being, until certain changes happen. I don't want to get political here. I do follow politics a lot. If you guys want me to get into what I think politically is going to happen with China and with the rest of the world, I'll get into it. But anyway, know that the situation in China is, the political situation in China is always shaky when it comes to the West. I personally would not invest in Baba. Would I trade it? Yes. I even have it a lot of times. I have it on the day trade watch list, right? Like you'll see Baba here. We had it yesterday, and Baba actually printed really hard yesterday as well. So I don't mind trading stuff. It's just, would I invest in it? Probably not. So if you're asking me for an investment, no, I wouldn't. And then someone asked me permission to long it. I wouldn't either, because it's getting rejected here at the 50-day moving average in this, pretty ugly descending wedge. So you're essentially going to be buying it at current resistance, which is something that I wouldn't entertain at the moment. So I don't mind buying it back off of the support level for a swing trade, but I'm not investing in Baba, and I certainly wouldn't long it here. But I don't mind day trading it. I don't mind swing trading it. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, there is Baba. Let's see. Do you place trailing stop limits on all your long positions? Barking Shark. No, definitely not. I place trailing stop limits on swing trades. I place trailing stop limits on swing trades, but not on long-term holds. Like if I'm coming here and I'm buying, let's see, and we could talk about undervalued mega cap stocks or mega cap stocks that have value at the moment. Facebook is definitely one of them. If I bought Facebook here at the 300 moving average, I'm not setting a stop or a trailing stop. For me, Facebook goes in the retirement portfolio, right? Same with Amazon, which I think there is an opportunity here, as well as with Google. There's an opportunity there as well. But Amazon at long time support. If you look at Google, this one recently hit the 200-day moving average, which it rarely does. The last time I did this was September 2020. So stuff like that. Excuse me. Stuff like that, I would not set trailing stops on, right? I would just buy it and keep dollar cost averaging at these major moving averages. Now, if I'm trading something like this, even if it's a blue chip, but it's an intentional trade, remember, trading and investing are two different sports. But even if it's an intentional trade, yes, then that's when I start messing around with stop limits for sure, but not on long-term holds. So when you ask me, do I set stops on everything? No, I don't. Dory says, please don't answer the bad questions. It's a waste of time. I haven't really seen bad questions. All right. Michelle K donated $10. Appreciate you, Michelle. One of the most loyal watchers, commenters. Appreciate you, and donators. Good on you. Thank you so much. If you have a question, Michelle, let me know. I know that you're in the Discord as well. So if I miss your question, hit me up on the Discord. And by the way, this weekend we are doing a mastermind call, an options mastermind call. So for those of you that have purchased the options course before, you get access to this mastermind channel here. And I do a Zoom call for you guys and go over any questions you might have about the course, any questions you have about strategies, any questions that you guys have about your own options trades, how to manage them, how to maybe start diving into other options trades, because a lot of people start with just buying calls and puts, but obviously you can get into iron condors and vertical spreads, ways that you can actually generate income off of options trades versus just buying calls and puts and praying, right? So yeah, that is this weekend. And if you guys want to be a part of the Zoom call, the non-option Zoom call, sign up to the trade alerts. And if you guys want to be a part of the option Zoom call and you bought the options course, just hit me up as well. You should be added to this channel. All right. Get into it. I want to hear political situation in China. Okay. I'm not going to dive into it, full throttle, but basically what I think is going to happen is, I think it's going to end peacefully, at least between the West and China. Like a lot of people that project some sort of like World War III scenario. I personally don't think that that's the case. What I think will happen is that there will be a world coalition built around trying to normalize relations with China and make sure that things aren't as contentious from a trade perspective. Also try to, for lack of better terms, pressure or encourage China not to go after Taiwan, or at least make threats against Taiwan, right? Especially because Taiwan, there's a huge bottleneck with regards to Taiwan and semiconductors. That's why TSMC smartly, even though they should have done this a long time ago, but smartly are building fabs or fabrication plants in Arizona as well as other parts of the world. I heard that they're building in, I want to say Malaysia as well, and Intel is doing the same thing. But there's definitely a choke point or a bottleneck with Taiwan because of the semiconductor industry. I think that before COVID, nobody ever thought we'd get to a chip shortage, which is why it probably wasn't planned ahead of time. But I don't think that, the tensions will end in sort of any armed conflict with China. I do think that there will be a world coalition built between, mostly Western countries that try to encourage China not to be so threatening towards Taiwan, and then try to normalize relations with China eventually, right? But with the way that China, that the CCP operates with companies that's in its own jurisdiction, I don't think that, the U.S. or the West has any say on that at all, right? So if China decides, hey, Baba, we're going to strip you of all your power, and this fintech company that you're trying to start called Ant Shares, we're just going to turn that into a regular bank, right? I don't think that there's any sort of, there really isn't anything that the West can do about that. So yeah, that is my political view with China. And by the way, speaking of political views, speaking of personal views in general, I was going to do a survey in this, right? But I've been asked to start streaming on Twitch as a platform, and I was considering starting a different channel, not trading. Like, we're going to keep the trading channel. We're going to keep this channel as is, keep it trading focused. I'm not going to get into too much else besides that. But if you guys would like me to, if you would find interest in starting another channel where I talk about things other than trading, maybe talk about, geopolitics as well, and just things going on in the world, let me know. And I'm definitely, I would definitely be open to starting that on Twitch, or maybe an alternate YouTube channel, or maybe stream on Twitch and that YouTube channel as well. It won't be on this channel, so don't worry. Like, all you will get is trading and finance content from me here. But if you'd be interested in it, let me know. Would love to hear from you. Leave it in the comment section of this video, or leave it in the chat. Let me know. All right. Michelle, again, thank you so much for the donation. Don't drink too much coffee, dude. Doc, I didn't have enough coffee. This is my first cup. I feel like I'm running at 30% right now. All right, let's see. A lot of people asking me about UPST. I don't know why this stock is so popular. I think it's definitely a stock that has, made the rounds on the internet. But UPST, I think, gets disproportionate amount of attention. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your donation to St. Jude's. If you have a question, let me know as well. Getting a question on SECRM. How do I get in the Mastermind Discord? As a fairly recent buyer of your options course, email courses@thetravelingtrader.com or info@thetravelingtrader.com. And, put in the email that you bought the options course with, and just say that you want to be added to the channel. All right. Would long SPY today for the day trade? I think you missed it. So if you're not part of the Discord, I sent out SPY at the 473 call if it goes above 472.25. And again, if you want me to dive into this further, I will. So we needed it to break this level that you see here. And we broke it already. And that 473 call was doing wonders. So, you know, this was the level that we needed it to break. Sorry, not 470. That was yesterday's. It was 463 call if it goes above 462.25. So it broke it very nicely, and the SPY went all the way up to around 465. So that call printed heavy. No, you don't buy that call now because it's retracing, right? So it hit almost 465, and now it's going back down. If you buy that call now, you're going to lose money. You want to buy the calls right at the breakouts, right? You are basically playing the breakout as soon as it happens. So you're playing this right here, right? And that's when you buy the call. You don't buy the call here. So no, and you're a bit late on the SPY call day trade. Z looking fresh. What's going on? Thank you, Heaven Paradise. I don't know. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. Back to orthodoxy. You a Dodgers fan? I'm in LA. What do you expect? But if you're not in LA, don't take it personally. I'm sure you root for your hometown team, right? Don't spread yourself too thin. I don't know what that means. Twitch sounds great. Not another YouTube. Okay, brilliant content, definitely the best. Different channel. Yes, I'm talking about a different channel. I'm saying, do you guys want me to, like, would you be interested in me talking about other topics besides trading? Because I'm interested in a zillion different things, whether it's sports or politics or history, or, you know, astronomy. I'm interested in so many things. I don't know if you guys would be interested in me talking about it, right? So, yeah. All right. Massive Intel plant being built in Ohio. Yes. Intel was one that I had called out a long time ago when it was like in the 40s, saying that this is the most undervalued blue chip semiconductor stock, and that Intel will eventually figure it out, and that the U.S. government actually has an interest, a staked interest in American semiconductors, because, you know, they want to gain a competitive advantage over China, and also to relieve that bottleneck that I talked about with Taiwan. Regina Slim, what's going on, Regine? Good morning. How you doing? Rafiq donated $20. Thank you so much, Rafiq. Lena. She says Leon. There was a hilarious video that was circling the internet about this guy who went to a grocery store, bought a grocery store lobster, like one to cook, but then ended up keeping it as a pet. And that lobster's name was Leon. So this is an inside joke. If you haven't seen it, just YouTube Leon the lobster, and you'll see this guy who kept a grocery store lobster as a pet. You are like combo. Not sure what that means. Would you recommend investing in bank stocks now? Roy asks. Okay. I think you're a bit late. However, if you were on the Discord, you would have gotten the alert about XLF, which is the S&P 500 sector, the financial sector of the S&P 500. So we bought into XLF last year in August. We bought into XLF again when it was at the 200-day moving average on December 20th, right? And we sent it out here in the Discord. So if you're part of the Discord, then you caught it. If you're not, you probably didn't. But bank stocks, I think you're a little bit late. It created an all-time high just yesterday. You know, you can dollar cost average, but you're not getting optimal pricing. I do think banks will eventually do well in 2022, one of the sectors that I'm most bullish about, but it's not going to, you're not getting optimal pricing here, meaning, yes, it can retrace back down. I think the net will be that eventually it will go up. But if you're asking whether this is optimal pricing, no. You know, it was at the 100 MA not that long ago. It was at the 200 MA just like I said, on December 20th, which was an extremely optimal buy. But if you're asking whether if you buy here, will it go up immediately? Probably not. Nobody can tell you, but it's not a great, you're not getting it at an optimal value as you could have just a couple of weeks ago. So, Hal Maddox, music. Yes, we could definitely talk about music as well. I play music too. Start a sports broadcast. I would like to do that as well. Gustavo says, no, only trading. Okay. I mean, this channel is only going to be on trading. How was that steak last night? Were you stalking me? How do you know? Oh, I posted it on IG. Yes, it was amazing. I had the entraña, which is an Argentinian skirt steak. So I went to an Argentinian steakhouse here in LA called Carlitos Gardel, which is amazing. If you're in the LA area, go check it out. Call side of WFC Strangle up 40%. Damn, let me check this. I might have to close this position. So we sent out a trade on WFC yesterday. Oh yeah. So if you close the put side, of that strangle, then yeah, you're up. But I think the total position is down slightly. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until the end of the day to close that because it expires next week, so it is fine. All right, let's see. Lucid. So we have Lucid, we have UPST. We'll go over that. Anything crypto that you guys want to see? Brilliant content, definitely the best. Thank you so much. We'll go over Lucid. We'll go over UPST. If there's anything crypto related, let me know. Donut puts. Okay. Let's do a day trade live. Okay, yeah. So that was something else that I was going to. So I hate day trading live for the simple fact that there's a lot of quiet time, right? So I'm always conscious. I'm always thinking of, am I providing value? Am I providing value? Are people watching, et cetera, et cetera? And that can obviously interfere with your day trade. So if I'm sitting there for 2 hours looking for an entry and I finally enter, the whole time I'll be thinking whether people are watching or people dropping off or people finding this interesting. And you definitely don't want to think that. So if I'm on Twitch, which is a much less... I think it's much less pressure streaming on Twitch because that type of content is conducive to a platform like Twitch. Then I might start just day trading as well on Twitch, where I'll run, 6-7 hour day trading marathons and just go through day trades. But on this channel, I don't know. I would be too conscious of whether there's too much downtime or too much quiet time or not. You know what I mean? So, Eric K, what motorbike do you cut? Right now, I ride a Ducati 796, a Ducati Monster 796, but looking to maybe get like an Aprilia or something, some Italian sport bike. Because right now, what I have is like a standard. It's in between a standard and a sport. Like a hybrid bike, right? All right. UPST. Let's get into that. No, UPST is one that could potentially find support here because it found support here back in June 2021. But for all intents and purposes, this was a falling knife. You see the death cross here between the 50 and the 200. I would actually wait on UPST. Let's look at what the option flows look like. And again, if you want access to this options flow tool, Cheddar Flow, you can get 25% off if you use code TT32. There are no options, no notable options on UPST at the moment. You can also check dark pool levels, meaning these aren't options. These are basically stock purchases, large stock purchases, and we don't see one on UPST as well. But like if you look at the SPY, you could see there are dark pool prints on the SPY, meaning that institutions are buying large amounts of this. And you can look this up for anything, right? You can look it up for BABA. There is one dark pool print for BABA worth $40 million. You can even look up the options flow for BABA. I will do this since I was getting the questions about BABA before, but there's actually quite a bit of options activity, 100% bullish at the moment. The premium is not a ton, so this could be deceiving if you look at this and you're like, oh, wow, the flow on BABA is 100% bullish. Yes, but look within the actual options chain. Like the premium, we're getting $110,000 print here, 81,000, 36,000. So it's not a ton, but the calls that are coming in are bullish on BABA. But this is, this tool right here is how, and if you monitor this, by the way, towards the end of the day, you will start to see a lot of prints on the indices that basically are good for power hour, meaning the last hour of closing of the market. And you could see what the sentiment is going into power hour, and you can usually scalp a pretty decent trade using this tool going into power hour, obviously corroborating everything with the chart that you see as well. But this is how last night, like at 12:59 West Coast time, which is 3:59 East Coast time, we basically scalped this within a couple minutes, scalped this SPY put here. But that was because of the prints that I saw coming in at power hour on Shadowflow. So it is really a valuable tool. You don't have to use it. You can obviously use other tools as well. But for me, visually, I think it is the best one. So yeah, I answered the question on UPST. Any other questions that you guys have that you want me to talk about? What are your main study used for volume on Thinkorswim? I just use the regular volume, and then there's also one called Volume Profile Visible Range, which tells you, so if you take a look at a chart, you will see, why don't I have it on my let's see, maybe I disabled it, because visually sometimes, do I have it here? Volume profile visible range. I don't. Let's see. Volume profile, add selected, apply. So this ugly thing right here, it tells you where you're seeing the most volume, right? At what price point you are seeing the most volume. So sometimes I'll use this, but I also use the typical volume indicator down here, which also has the on balance volume, or OBV, mapped onto it. So yeah, those are the volume indicators that I use. All right. Let us go back to the chat. SoFi, Nike, Tesla. All right, so let's do SoFi, Nike, Tesla. Is your car modded? I actually sold my car yesterday. The used car prices are insane. For those of you that have a used car that you're trying to get rid of, this is the time to do it before supply starts kicking in, before interest rates start going up. There is an insane demand on used cars. I was able to sell my used car for almost what I bought it for brand new 3 years ago. Insane. But yeah, at La Rosa, I actually sold my car yesterday. So but no, it wasn't modded. I just had the windows tinted. That's it. All right, let's do Nike, and we'll do SoFi as well. So someone had asked me a question about fintech yesterday, and I said that fintech in 2022, I'm not very bullish on, because they are seen as adversaries of banks, right? It's seen as a counter trade to banks, and fintech and banks are going to do really well this year. Obviously, they have been doing really well, which is why fintech has been crashing, right? So, I don't mind SoFi at the $10 to $13 level. Excuse me. I don't mind SoFi at the $10 to $13 level. Selling cash secured puts, I think, is the easiest bet on SoFi, especially because it's relatively cheap. So this is one that if you've never sold cash secured puts, you can practice on if you want to own SoFi. But yeah, fintech is getting killed. I mean, same with PayPal, same with Square. PayPal is finding some support here. Square is, these all look like falling knives. Square can even continue to fall from here. Square does not look like it's finding as much support as PayPal is, right? And again, you can look at what the options flow is and see if you can actually, if something's finding support and you're seeing a lot of bullish call options, then that would give you further confirmation that, hey, it might actually find support here. But if you look at Square, we're getting, one large print of bearish orders. If you look at PayPal, looks a little bit more bullish. So, it's a battle between the bulls and the bears here. And that's also corroborated by what you see on the chart where it is finding support. So, yeah, not really too bullish on fintech for 2022, but SoFi is like I said, one that you can sell cash. You could put on Nike. I am looking for support on Nike. It was on the watch list as one that I was looking at. The weekly watch list is one that I was looking at for support. But we just breached the 300-day moving average. So, Nike could fill this gap. And we could get Nike at around the 134 range, between like 125 and 134, if it does continue to breach this 300-day moving average. So this is actually one that I might buy a put spread on or of some sort. So we'll see. Lululemon, same thing. I think Lululemon also breached major support, and it had this ugly ass head and shoulders here. Confirmed it, broke it to the downside. We could have easily bought puts on the break. I didn't. Obviously, you can't catch every ticker, but if you saw something like this, then you could buy puts on the breakdown of a bearish pattern like this, right? So, yeah, hopefully I'm answering a lot of your guys' questions. Everybody keeps saying that Lucid price will drop after the 19th. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to lockup periods, right? When it comes to lockup periods, the price doesn't have to drop, but the price could drop if one of two things happens. If insiders are wanting to take profits, so if something ran up an insane amount beyond what investors think will happen in the short term, right? So like if Lucid was trading at like the 60 range again, as it was trading in the 60 range back in February 2021, then I would be more inclined to say that we'll see a drop, because if you're an insider and you have shares of Lucid at $10, then yeah, you're going to 6x your money overnight as soon as the lockup expiration happens. And by the way, lockup expiration for the newbies means when you are contractually allowed as an insider to sell your shares on the open market, right? So Lucid's lockup expiration comes up January 19th. So you see that happening when the price of the stock has gone up beyond reason, or when the price of the stock is tanking and it looks like it will tank further. At the 40 range, I don't think it's as clear whether Lucid is going to tank. Now, you could see some selling of the stock. It could push it back down to the high 30s, but will the stock tank? Nobody can tell you, but in my view, if I was to assess it, it's really not at a price point that supports insiders dumping it by the masses, right? Like you might get insiders, because if you're an insider and you bought it at 10, it does not mean that every insider is now bearish or wants to take profit. You'll have a lot of insiders that are bullish that say, holy shit, if Lucid does well, it could actually bump up to $75. So if I got it at 10, why would I sell it here at 40? So hopefully that makes sense. So nobody can tell you whether, a stock is going to dump on lockup expiration. We've seen both ways happen. We've seen actually stocks rally on lockup expiration, and we've seen stocks tank on lockup expiration. And most of the time, if it's at a price point like this, you'll see it trading kind of in a range. So yeah, I don't foresee in the 40s Lucid tanking after January 19th. That is my take on it. I don't have a crystal ball. BMW S1000RR. Yes. That is actually one of the bikes that I'm looking at as well. All right. Abdul one way to not get your question answered is to spam. So I'm actually not going to answer your question, and I'm going to put you in timeout because you are being hella annoying, typing in Microsoft 10 times, 50 times over, right? So what outlet did you use to sell your car? I sold it at the dealership because they gave me an insane, but I went to CarMax and got an offer just in case, like a backup offer, and the dealership actually matched CarMax's offer. So CarMax is paying you at the moment, will pay you top dollar for your car. If you're looking to sell it, this is the time to sell it. I think you'll be surprised by the amount of money you will get for your used car if you are looking to sell it. So yeah, what are you going to drive? Well, I already picked up a new car. But yeah, I don't know if I want to say. If enough people ask me, I'll tell you. But yeah, I already picked up a new car. Is that hooch in that flask? Alistair Escobar asks, hooch? Oh, like alcohol? No, dude, it's water. It's just morning time. I'm on the West Coast, man. So I've been up since 5 a.m. Why market crash indicator just flashed in red? Shahid Khan asked. My market crash indicator just flashed red. What indicator are you using, man? Let me know. Can you look at Palantir in Cheddarflow? Sure. But also make sure you go out and get Cheddarflow. It is a cheap tool that will up your game exponentially. Here's Palantir in Cheddarflow. Not a ton coming in, but what we do have coming in is mostly bearish. And the reason that we don't have a ton of options coming in on Palantir as we usually do, whoops. Wait. That's not the right Palantir. There's a Palantir listed on the London Stock Exchange. Wow, okay. Is because I think this is a range where the bulls and the bears expect to hover around. But you know, I think Palantir can get, if it breaks this 15 range, really if it breaks this 14 level that we see here, I think Palantir can potentially get back to near $10, which was what its direct listing price was. But I think, yeah, selling puts on Palantir is an easy way to get in on cheap Palantir if you want to own it for the long term. I'm not as bullish as some folks are. A lot of folks call it a, $1 trillion company or $2 trillion company. They say that it's going to go head to head with Microsoft. I mean, I honestly, I've never seen the point of that thesis. What I think happens a lot of times with YouTube, and I hate seeing this, and you even see this out of professional money managers like Cathie Wood as well, is that folks tend to dig their heels and become ideological about their stock positions, right? Because they hold large amounts of it. They see a thesis that they continue to want to see. It's like a confirmation bias. So anything that happens negative with the stock, a lot of times you'll get people making excuses like, oh, Elon Musk didn't sell stock because of XYZ. He sold stock because of this. So it's really not a negative catalyst. Or Cathie Wood is dumping shares of this because of this positive reason, not because of this negative reason. You can really justify anything you want. At the end of the day, remove your emotions from your analysis. And, I love Apple products. I love Apple just as much as anybody else. If Apple does some boneheaded shit, I'm going to call it out and say, hey guys, I'm actually bearish on Apple right now because they just, I don't know, scrapped the iPhone or created a new line of phones to cannibalize their existing sales, their existing stellar sales on the iPhone or something. I don't know. Name some weird scenario. But, I will call it out on a company that I'm a fan of, right? But I think a lot of people on YouTube, like once you start talking about Palantir or Tesla or ARC, and you are known for that, then you start digging your heels and creating narratives for your fans. And I'm not saying it's dishonest. It's probably part of a psychological phenomenon, right? And you start doing that for your fans because you are now the Tesla or ARC or Palantir guy or girl, and you find that you probably have a responsibility to do that. However, I always try to remain as objective as possible with stocks. I'm not a fan of any company. I'm not a fan of any cult of personality like a Tim Cook or an Elon Musk. Even though I might respect them, I don't make trades based off of them. I don't, laud them or praise them with every move if what they are doing at the time is something that I disagree with. So you have to be extremely objective and non-bullshit when it comes to investing. And yeah, I like Palantir at a certain price point, but I don't think that Palantir is going to be the next Microsoft. I just don't. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. What do you think about Starbucks? Why is it tanking so hard? Well, this right now is a falling knife. But Starbucks had an insane run up in 2021, right? So it is tanking to a level that it saw back in 2019 or 2020. I'm not sure why Starbucks is a falling knife. This is actually, thank you for calling that out, because I haven't paid attention to this ticker in quite a while. I'm not sure if there are any headlines that we can glean on Starbucks, besides the fact that Dutch Brothers is gaining market share. All right, RBC rates it as near-term neutral. Okay, so it got a downgrade. Requires COVID-19 vaccine or weekly test for workforce, but that's not unique. Let's see. Starbucks trades lower after Baird warns on China uncertainty. So it looks like there's a domino effect of negative news, right? But Starbucks is definitely a profitable company that I will look to get into once it finds support. It's just right now it's a falling knife, and probably one that I would not touch until it finds support. Potentially looking for a first line of support here at around what we're talking about, below $100. So what, $95 probably, which is, this was former resistance. That acted as support back in February, might act as support here. So I will definitely look at Starbucks. Starbucks is a ticker symbol that I am looking at as well. If you guys want me to do anything crypto related or Bitcoin, let me know. And I will be happy to do that. Square, can you do more analysis of Square? It was more than a week ago. You featured it as a buy in one of your vids. Guys, context is super important. All right. When I talk about things as a buy, or even when I do like a top stocks to buy list, watch the video, okay? Watch what I say. I talk about stop limits. I talk about positioning. This is stuff that you won't hear other people talk about, because these are things that I've learned over 20 years. When folks talk about buying stocks, a lot of people on YouTube that haven't been actual investors or traders in the game, they tend to overload on meme stocks. They don't give you a context about how they're trading at what levels they're looking at, whether they're setting a stop limit, what part, how much of their portfolio it's going to hold. So you definitely have to take, especially in this market landscape, you have to provide more context to your trades and your investments. So I'm okay buying Square, right? But yes, I will set a stop limit on Square. I'm okay buying Square, but guess what? It's not going to take up a large percentage of my portfolio. And by the way, if you want to see my portfolio and see how it's distributed, you could see that in the Discord as well. It's there for everybody to see. But if you look at the larger piece of the pie, like half of my portfolio is taken up by a handful of names. Apple, NASDAQ, S&P, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla, Amazon. That's half of my portfolio, right? You see these tiny, tiny, tiny fragments here. This is taken up by, PayPal, Square, Spotify, etc. And then you have these medium-sized portions of my portfolio that's taken up by AMD, Chipotle, Facebook, XLK, Shopify, etc. So positioning is very important. Distribution is important. Stop limits are important. I'll see these comments all the time, and it drives me up the freaking wall when people are like, oh, but this, you said this is a buy, and I bought X amount and I'm holding it and it's tanking. Well, did you pay attention to the stop limit notification that I gave? Did you pay attention to the distribution? Probably not. Those things are more important than what you actually invest in, right? So yes, I said Square was, I was looking at it as a buy when it was finding support here, but there's also a stop limit there. There's also a distribution there. So if Square is 1% of your portfolio, yeah, you might buy it at 132 and be like, hey, I like this price point for the long term. I'm willing to hold it for 5 years. But if you look at Square and you're like, oh man, there's no way that it's going to drop further than it is now, which is very akin to like gambler's fallacy, right? And you overload in Square, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. And yeah, you're going to be butthurt and start commenting like, oh, but you said this was a buy. No, I said it was a potential buy if you want a fintech company that is down 40, 50% from highs, but it's not going to be more than 1% of my portfolio. And it certainly is not going to, I'm not going to just let it bleed endlessly, right? So hopefully that helps. When we talk about something as a buy, there's always context around it. Now, something like Apple, Microsoft, McDonald's, Home Depot, I might blindly buy it, not blindly, but I might buy it if it hits major support and not set a stop limit, because that's a stock that I'm certain about for the long term. It's a legacy. Those are legacy companies that pay out dividends, that have growth records, et cetera, that just blow earnings. We're talking about companies that do 30, 40, $50 billion a quarter in earnings. So very, very different, guys. Very different. You a fan of BMW M series? Yes, of course. That, the car that I picked up was also in the M range. Is today a buy for Tesla? No, you guys are not you guys, but those of you that ask if Tesla's a buy here, I mean, you're buying a little bit late, in my opinion. Again, pay attention to these moving average. It wasn't that long ago Tesla was trading in the 500s and nobody was asking about it. Look how tight this range was, right? Like Tesla was trading literally between 550 and 700 for 2 months straight. And nobody was asking about it, right? But everyone wants to buy it at 1100. I'm personally not buying Tesla here, even if you were to isolate it within the context of this channel, right? It's in the middle of the channel. So no, I would not buy it here. But, I like selling cash secured puts on Tesla. I can appreciate that is something that is a luxury, because it does require a ton of capital. But you can look at the put to call flow on Tesla is about, it's about even 57.43. So, and it's in the middle of the channel. So I don't like buying stocks in limbo. I like buying them at support. Man is the truth. Some of these be faking. Thank you, Alton. WFC strangle went green. No, let me check it. I hate when I don't hate it because I like providing value to you guys, but a lot of times I will be in trades that I cannot monitor because I'm on this thing. Yes, it is in the green. All right, I might close it out here actually, but it expires January 22nd, so might leave it open depending on what WFC's chart looks like. We can actually take a look at the chart and see it is up. Wow. Yeah, WFC's up 4% today. So we have a strangle on WFC, and we need it to we basically need it to make a huge move in either direction. And it's up 4.5% today on stellar earnings. So that strangle is up. I might close it out today. What you don't want in a strangle is for something to stay in a flat range. You need it to make either a big move up or a big move down. So we bought a strangle for earnings. By the way, if you guys want access to all of the plays, again, link is in the description below. Oh, hold on. I got to actually check one thing. I got to check one thing real quick, and then we will dive back into the trades. Somebody had alerted me that there aren't any more spots open for the trade alerts. So let me go ahead and open up more spots for you guys. All right, done. All right, let me go back to your questions. Cool. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy these live streams. Can you call Nancy Pelosi, tell her to stop the bleeding? Yeah, I mean, Nancy needs to put in a good word. But the good thing is, and again, if you're part of the trade alerts, you know this. We play both sides. Like you see here, there are calls in green. There are puts in red. So, you know, if the SPY drops below a certain level, we're buying puts. If it pops above a certain level, we're buying calls. And again, if you want me to explain this, here's your last chance for me to explain it live. Otherwise, if you're part of the Discord, we'll definitely go over it in the Zoom calls this weekend. So, all right. You said buy X and X did not go up immediately. Derp. Actually, X did go up. You probably bought it late because our X position. Did I have a butterfly or a back ratio on X? I can't remember. But yeah, dude, what are you talking about? X from the 300-day moving average. X is up 15%. So with all due respect, shut the fuck up. I'm just messing with you. I know you were trolling me. I'm just messing with you. Some here use the hero. I think most people in the Discord that are in Europe actually use interactive brokers, right? I'm not sure you answered this before. C dropped 2%. Well, C missed earnings. We're talking about Citibank. So, I mean, yeah, it's okay for a dollar cost averaging point, but, actually, yeah, it's okay for a dollar cost averaging point, but, you know, it could drop further. But it missed earnings. That's why it dropped. It had earnings this morning. All right, we're going over an hour, so I am looking to sign off unless we get any last-minute important questions. Beto Aguilar said X5M. No, it's the X4M, actually. It looks a lot sportier. Tesla said Shafiq said Tesla going to 3K. Tesla may break up. I disagree. Not sure what that means. Nobody talks about AutoZone. We've traded AutoZone quite a few times. Yeah, but I personally don't have an investment in AutoZone currently. All right, guys, make sure you leave a thumbs up on this stream so that other people can find it, especially after the stream is done. Member snowboarding trip. Who was asking this? God damn it. I lost okay. Kevin, is it Levine? If you guys want to do a member snowboarding trip, I'm down. I'm super down. There's a couple of members who I'm friends with on the Discord already that I snowboard with. But yes, we can organize a bigger snowboard trip, preferably in California. I personally don't like to snowboard in freezing cold temperatures. So I like to snowboard at Tahoe, Mammoth. Here in LA, I go to Mountain High, but that's just because it's like an hour and a half from where I live and it's convenient. But yeah, if you guys want to do a snowboard trip, let me know. And we will certainly do that. If you're part of the Discord, hit me up. If you're follow me on Instagram, that's another great way to get a hold of me. A lot of times when I'm traveling somewhere, I will send out, if I have free time, you know, if you guys want to meet up, we'll do coffee, we'll do, you know, drinks or whatever. But yeah, if you're interested in a snowboarding trip, let me know. Either hit me up on Instagram or hit me up on the Discord, and we'll try to organize one on a certain date and time. Again, preferably on the West Coast because I'm not snowboarding in freezing ass cold temperatures. Natalie Wilson, are you single? Funny. All right. Tahoe, yeah, let's do it. Z, Miami F1 race in May. Kenan, let's do it. Are you coming to the U.S.? And then you got to come out to California, man. One of my good friends from Dubai. Yeah, if you're coming out to the U.S., let me know. We'll definitely do it. When you're traveling, do you take a guitar? Very good question. Yes, sometimes. Because you know, gotta keep practicing. Gotta keep practicing. Can I tag along with snowboarding? I have snowshoes only. No, you got to learn how to snowboard. Take a lesson. It's fun. You can come up and then you could take a lesson and then come up on the runs. Squaw Valley and Tahoe. I love Squaw Valley. But I tend normally to go to Heavenly or North Star just because, you know, the areas around there, there's a lot to do there. But yeah, Z, M8 is a great car. Is that what you have bought? I'll let you know on Instagram. Anonymous donated 20 pounds to St. Jude's. Thank you so much for holding it down, whoever you were. Prachi said, all right, I'll take a couple last questions and then we'll bounce because I got to trade and I got to close that strangle for profit. If you're holding a spread and expecting a big move in your direction but quickly approaching expiration, what are your rules? It depends on how sized you are and how much you're in profit. I mean, if you're in profit, especially in this kind of market, take the profit. This is not a market to play around in. Does Theta negatively impact your profits? No, Theta has a very small effect on debit spreads, and actually does have a positive effect if the spread stays favorable to you, right? Like if the price of the stock is favorable according to your spread, it actually has positive Theta usually, right? All right. Yeah, I think I will sign off. But I love doing these, you know, I don't get to do them as often as I want to. But yeah, I definitely would like to get to at least 2 streams a week. So if you are interested in that, hit the thumbs up on this stream so that I could do further streams. But for those of you who are part of the Options Mastermind Discord, or Options Mastermind channel, I will see you guys on the call. I will see the rest of you, the Diamond Plus traders, on the general Zoom call this weekend as well. And then for the Discord members, I will see you guys on the Discord. And for everybody else, always enjoy doing this. And I will see you guys on the next